absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important.
No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again and again and again, again and again and again, again and again. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again, again and again and again, again and again.
That's a scam!
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again and again and again, again and again and again, again and again. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again, again and again and again, again and again.
That's a scam!
Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important.
No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again and again and again, again and again and again, again and again. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again, again and again and again, again and again.
That's a scam!
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
No one.
Welcome, internet friends. Another episode of Whale's Tales, episode 172, I think. Welcoming you in nouns glasses. Is there any other more fitting pair of glasses for an episode dedicated to DAOs and the importance of on-chain governance? We're gonna get the chance to talk to Voshi from the Grid Experiment later on the show, on the second half of the show, to tell us more about what he's doing with the amazing capabilities of Realms and how he's interacting and unlocking stakes and how he's managed to take that DAO to be the #1 DAO in terms of proposals and participation in the past 3 months across all chains. So that's a huge feat. So I'm looking forward on talking to my really good friend Voshi. I can show you a picture together on in front of the entrance of Breakpoint, the first Breakpoint in 2021 in Lisbon. Nouns DAO, a cool Ethereum DAO with perpetual issuance. They are issuing 1 NFT per day, and they auction that NFT. So to get into the DAO, you need to buy that NFT, which is minted every day. And depending on how good this DAO is doing, the more expensive or cheaper the participation NFTs cost. At the moment, they're expensive. They're one of the most expensive NFT collections out there. But this is an Ethereum DAO. So we haven't had Whale's Tales the past week. You've been seeing me online almost every day, though. We're doing those feedback bonanzas with the Dean's List DAO. We're exploring new cool dApps, new and old. We did so many. We did Meme Royale, which is launching tomorrow, by the way. Stay tuned. We're gonna play around. Maybe come online and do some trades there on stream. We had the chance to do an alpha check on it. We did Jupiter Ape. We did BasketFi. We did our own native dApp. We did Future Protocol. We did so many, and it's such a fun thing. So tune in every day that we're doing those and be part of the Dean's List DAO. If you want to get paid doing that and appear on the panel, all you need to do is be positive, have a camera and a clear mic and some lightning. That's also really good. Now, Solana Lightning, that's the extra, the Solana Lightning. So yeah, if you're wondering what the fuck is going on with the market, hey, that's the crab market. That's the calm before the storm. You know, I'm bullish since maybe December last year or something like that. I turned bullish and I remain bullish. I think we're lagging behind some of the traditional finance markets, but I'm pretty sure we're going to explode upwards sooner or later. Now, the longer the crab market persists, the more solid those prices become as lows, as prices where it's going to be harder for the asset to cross. So I remain bullish, just survive the crab market, wait for a clear trend indication. It's not a fun market to trade, but stay on your toes. Watch your Twitter wall carefully, watch your influencers, watch your degens, and trade your coins. But just don't get shaken out before the large bull run. Let's talk a little bit about DAOs and how should we do that. What I want us to do, what I had in mind is a little bit. I need to outline the importance of why a DAO needs to be on chain. And I've had the chance to interact with multiple DAOs that they call themselves DAOs, and they are DAOs, but they could be even more DAOs. And utilizing this immutable ledger that we call blockchain, that's decentralized, that's permissionless, that doesn't promotes inclusivity and all this cool narrative that we have is a shame not to utilize its power for our DAOs and for our governance. And you know, everybody has a vague idea of what on-chain governance is, but I think it's time to remember the importance of realms today. And I cannot think of any other platform on Solana. Maybe multisig platforms also tick those boxes, but they're just for limited people. So yes, we could say squads, but I would not be able to name any other. Like, I know Jupiter has its own, I know Align has its own. I just don't see the freedom in those platforms, but I see the freedom coded in the SPL governance, the realms.today application. It's just mind-blowing, and you really need to it feels you need to be an expert to play with these tools, but in reality you don't need to. You just need to understand the concepts, and I think understanding the concepts is way harder than in interacting with those dApps. And understanding when you need a council token, why on-chain governance is important, what are the drawbacks, what's the criticism against on-chain governance, but what are the very important lessons behind the on-chain governance, and maybe also talk a little bit about some examples. So what I want us to do is explain some core notions, like what is quorum, which is, I think, one of the most important things for DAOs. I also want us to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of on-chain governance, and you'll see why it just makes sense to use on-chain governance in crypto projects and in general. Like, I think this is going to be part of the mass adoption. This is going to be what's going to spill out of this closed bucket and wet other no-coiners. And I think Solana is the perfect home for non-financial transactions, just like those required for voting and signing and interacting with treasuries and validators and staking. And then I'll show you some niche tools that you might not even know existed, and maybe your community needs them. So a little bit about on-chain governance. So on-chain governance promotes transparency. That's what we love about blockchain. It ensures all decisions and votes and transactions are recorded, and it gives this immutable history that we build our whole narrative upon. So transparency, important for DAOs. Security, like we know how secure cryptocurrencies are, we know how secure Solana is. This security translates also for DAOs, to the DAO structure, to all these governance platforms. You cannot alter a vote, you cannot alter a transaction. Yes, there are loopholes. That's why you need to work with these platforms to correct these issues. For example, yes, you cannot change the vote, but can you change the document attached to your proposal to do something else? That's a different story. Decentralization. They promote decentralization because it aligns exactly with the whole narrative of cryptocurrency, and it enables this democratic making process where token holders directly participate in governance. And yes, most people think of token governance as one token, one vote. There are flavors. There is the what's it called? Quadratic voting. And you can change the bonding curve to be different than quadratic and have a completely different bonding curve depending on how much money, how much tokens you have. If you have a lot of tokens, this translates to less power. But you have little tokens, this translates, you don't lose any of that power. So the smaller voices are amplified and the louder voices are a little bit silent. Not silenced, they are tuned down. That's the best way of putting it. And then you have all the other cool things like accountability, inclusivity, resilience, all these attributes that you would assign to cryptocurrency. So cheers to all of you. Now, there are cons. There are cons to on-chain governance. Lots of people will question its agility. And again, the people that are going to question its agility most probably have the wrong settings on their DAO, because you can include multi-sig and agile squads with smaller treasuries connected, like pods under a larger DAO. But yes, if you have a 2-day voting period and you expect people to take 2 days to vote, then your most agile move can be minimum 2 days, which is not agile at all. So yes, you need to structure your DAO. Then people will accuse on-chain governance as easy to bribe because it's a little bit behind. Like you can just because lots of governance tokens have value, this can be manipulated in a way, and like there is this myopic like the accusation of DAO participants and traders, meaning that they will prefer short-term gains versus long-term investment in a project or in a DAO. So you'll see all these issues with on-chain governance, but I think that these are general criticism against governance structures, and you can shape your DAO in any way you want and be agile. And lots of people are going to think, okay, let's say our treasury has 100 Solana, and we need to sell 50 Solana. So what do we need to do? We need to create a transaction where everybody votes, and to sell this Solana at X price. And the idea behind this whole process is that until the people vote, the price will change, and the vote will not make any sense, and the transaction will just fail. So I'll show you tools on how to mitigate that. I'll show you the trader delegate, that you can trade things on an AMM, where we'll explore it together, and we'll also explore council tokens, which is a way for the DAO to stay agile. And like when you create a new DAO. Let me switch to realms quickly. Here we go. Here we go. Let me take this away. Enter up, connect my wallet, create a DAO, create a community DAO, and this is a test DAO. Let's assume we got a token. Doesn't matter. Let's get which one? Let's get I know what we're gonna get, obviously. We're gonna get the Dean token. What are we talking about? Here we take this one and let's get this one. Token found. Do you want to transfer? No. What's the minimum community tokens to create? Let's say 1,000 tokens. So, this is the important part. How much of the community token supply is needed to pass a proposal? So, this is the quorum, and this is very, very, very important to understand. Like, I think that's the number one thing you'll understand, and you'll understand why programmatic is the right way to imagine DAOs. That's the only way. So what is quorum? Quorum refers to the minimum number of members and votes required to make a decision and validate a proposal. So this kind of ensures that there's enough participation in for the vote, and it's not just a few, like a few people, a few votes that just noticed the proposal going on chain and voting. So you need the minimum amount of people to find any kind of direction on your proposal. So if nobody votes, or 2 people vote, or 3 people vote, it's like allowing national elections to happen, and everybody's forbidden on going to vote, and only the elite is allowed to exit their houses, and then that election is obviously does not meet quorum, since the majority of people did not manage to vote. So this is what you need to really think of. So let's say I make a DAO, and I'm very bullish that everybody is going to interact with my DAO, and I create this DAO at a 70% quorum. Now, what happens if I have a treasury with $1,000 in it, and I call my friends with my coin, my governance coin, my Dean's Lister, to vote on what we're gonna do with $1,000, and nobody responds. Now my $1,000 are locked. So what do I need to do? I need to add this agility layer. I need to add this additional security layer that it's counterintuitive in the beginning, but it will save you from noob mistakes like starting your DAO with a high quorum. Because what if your friends don't actually respond to your calling and nobody comes to vote, and you cannot reach quorum? What we explained, nobody comes to vote. Then you're stuck. You're stuck, and your $1,000 in the treasury are stuck. So until your DAO starts moving and you start seeing the levels of participation, you might have hoped for 70%, but you're getting 40%. But you need to start rolling the ball. So maybe you should refer to some trusted members to hold your council token, and the council token can veto a decision, can be a way for conflict resolution, can be a security versus a Sibyl attack, someone acquiring a lot of token and pushing a malicious proposal to try to drain the treasury. So yes, a real DAO, a real decentralized DAO, doesn't have at its top council tokens. Why? Because the DAO is matured and the DAO knows the amount of participation it gets, and before the participation levels drop under quorum, they will push a proposal to change that participation. But guess what? For the proposal to change the amount of participation required for a proposal to pass, you need to achieve quorum. So that's where the council token is important. So if you're creating a DAO in the beginning, I highly advise you to have a council token. Now, let's say we created our DAO, and let's explore some really cool DAO before we get into the grid experiment. Then we'll talk a little bit about what Boshi has done and how he's utilizing realms, and he's created a DAO. But before we go there, we spoke about council tokens. I want to explore a cool thing that Mango Markets has. So if you go to Mango Markets, go here. You launch the DAO. And you go on the left here on Mango, you can list a token. Look at this. List any SPL token on Mango. And this is done programmatically through a DAO. Look at this cool application of a DAO. This is, look at how Mango is lifting the gatekeeping when it comes to DEX listing. Because sure, decentralized exchanges are powerful and they have no KYCs and you can trade, but there is a form of gatekeeping if that DEX, the devs, or whoever is pushing the updates doesn't list your token or your community token. So this is a really, really cool way of programmatically listing a token. And how do you list your token? So new market or new token listing, you need at least 100,000 Mango deposited in Mango governance. And then is that efficient liquidity? New markets and tokens are approved by DAO vote and it takes 3 days. So, list token. So what you do here is you have to go to realms. That's really cool. Let's go to realms. You enter the app and you go to Mango DAO. And if you have 100,000, this account doesn't have. I have 100,000. I have 150,000 on my ledger, and I used that 150,000 to list the Dean token. And with the help of Luya and the Dean's List Brazil arm, shout out to Triad leading this pod, we listed Dean token on Mango. And as you see here, the vote passed. And if you go to Mango Markets to trade, you'll find Dean token. How cool is that? That's an application of a DAO. This is, and trust me, the holders of the Mango token, if they see a scam token coming to trade on Mango, even if it will bring like a lot of volume to the platform and make their market makers happy, but is a scam token, they will vote no. Why would you want to have a scam token listed on your platform? If you're a shareholder, you would prevent that. And here you go, you can prevent that. And together you'll see so many interesting proposals. Like, look at this, change oracles on perp markets in Mango. Look at this, from this to this. And lots of them are programmatic updates. And you'll see also non-programmatic, like how to, look at this, head of growth. the Mango team hired a new head of growth and they put it to a DAO vote. How cool is that? How cool is that? And before we move on, because that's also like that's a feature, that's a cool feature. That's like if you know how to do that and you have 100,000, you can become like a biz dev for Mango and go around hacker houses and like pitch the platform and tell them like I'll help you list. It costs $1,000. Worry not, I'll take you through the whole process and I'll put the vote for you. And like you can sell that. Like I am pretty sure you can sell that. Like the Mango team, I'm holding Mango, so if that says anything, like I bought Mango during the bear market. I'm not like a Mango holder since the early days of Solana, but I bought Mango after meeting the team, after seeing the strength of the devs, the power of their treasury, their relationships, and like the how responsive they are. Like just go try list a coin and get to their Discord or tweet about it. You'll get immediately you'll get immediate attention. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So next cool feature I want to show you is a feature that Dean's List DAO is using, and I'll show you what happens here. Let me find it. So it's real. Here we go. So deposit USDC in Mango. Look at this. This is a very complicated distraction. This is something that puts people off when it comes to that. But look at this. So the Dean's List DAO has a treasury. Has a treasury which anybody can make a proposal. The minimum amount you need to interact with that treasury is 100,000 tokens. That's not a lot. What's 100? Like $300, $400 maximum. That's not more. So you can move as much money as you want just by creating a proposal. Now, those treasuries are usually many different token accounts. So you get some USDC, you'll get some of your native token, you'll get some MSOL, you'll get some MNDE, you'll get some future protocol. Like we got lots of cool things in our treasury. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to buy a little bit of Dean token. We wanted to buy a little bit of Dean token off the market to distribute it to some of our core contributors. And because we cannot deplete, this is a token that has its mint authority burned, and we cannot mint any more coin. We need to be very careful with our reserves. So we're not distributing our reserves, rather we are buying it off the market. How do you buy it off the market as a DApp? How do you use USDC to buy a small cap with lots of slippage and lots of fluctuation? How do you do it when the minimum DAO vote is 24 hours? The transaction will fail, but how do you do it? This really cool feature. So this is now this is a person asking. So no, let me take it from another point. The DAO at some point created a proposal and assigned a trade delegate. So what we did is we assigned Legend, our trusted member, and in the audience, Legend, to be our trusted trader in Mango Market. So now this trusted trader can request to withdraw money from the Dean's List treasury to his trader account in Mango Market. But this trader account can only move tokens back to the treasury. So the trader account cannot send the funds outside. Now, Legend can pump his bugs. Legend can buy a scam coin. Legend has the freedom to, although there are no scam coins because, as we said, You can downvote the scam tokens before they get listed on Mango. But yeah, there's always going to be some kind of but. At the same time, this works. And what Legend did was he moved $500 to his own account. And with that $500, he bought from Mango $500 worth of Bean token, which was about 110,000 coins. And then he deposited those tokens back to the main treasury account. So this is a way to have an investment fund, to pool funds and allow one person to trade that fund. And then you don't need to do any accounting of how much money did he spend, how much did he move now, like did he tell us what he did. You don't need all these things. You just have them here on chain, on SolScan. You can see it on each instruction. So I think that's super cool, and it solves a lot of agility issues. And together, like I just showed you only like 2-3 examples. You can do quadratic votes. You can do NFT and token votes. You can delegate your votes to other people. You can lock it for additional weight. You can programmatically update things. There are Solana protocols that already do that. Mango is one of them. It's so interesting. You can do airdrops. You can do streamflow vesting. You can do so many things, and then you can take all these things and create blinks for them. And then people can interact with the DAOs and the treasuries and the dApps and everything just programmatically. But now, after I showed you these things, now I want us to explore a little bit. Untied Bear is asking, is this a Mango feature? This is a Mango built instruction. So Mango built this instruction for Realms. Mango has been the #1 community contributing to the creation of Realms. Like I know most of the Mango team has wrote together with Sebastian and some more developers from that Solana side. They worked a lot behind the code. So yes, Mango knows how to work this DApp. Now let's move on to the grid experiment, because this is something we've talked about again in this stream. There is a meme in my viewer base that shows me saying like, I might be wrong. I do not think I'm wrong, but, and I'm referring to the grid experiment, because like I was around on the previous cycle when Voshi and his team created this fictional shitcoin allow list, whitelist, where it would be a shitcoin, would be an NFT. It was elusive, and people signed up, and they allowed they signed their wallets and they signed their Twitters, and they didn't read anything. They didn't read what permissions they were giving away. And Voshi and the Grid experiment had a chance to drain those funds. Like this could easily have been a drainer. And not only that, they also took control of the Twitter account. So suddenly, tens of thousands of wallets and Twitter accounts were posting, I got greedy and I fell for this. And there was nothing more behind this trick. No funds were moved. It was just a public ridicule. And it taught people, it humbled people. We saw like Slope Wallet, or what was it, fell for it. You saw some really big accounts just signed off the permissions of their wallets and the and their Twitter. So shout out to Taki Sol. I will always tease you for falling for this. And let me show you also, like I posted a thing a couple of days ago. So look at this. This is Breakpoint Volume 1. We're in Portugal. This is 2021. And we got the crew here. Where is Alex Pertz? Where is Ratosthenis? There's Din Machine, Takisol, and Voshi. So yes, I trust Voshi. I trust him that he's fair and he's honest and he has no filter and he's gonna speak his mind. But he's not a scammer and he's not a shitcoiner and he's not a shitcoin leader in any way like that. He's more of the I'll help you learn, I'll educate you. So I never thought that Voshi would be launching a shitcoin. So when the real grid came into the scene, shout out to Seb Monty that was encouraging people to sign up for it. Like, I mean, dude, come on. There's no way. There is no way Voshi is this type of person. And it's obviously, like, now that we know that there was no shitcoin, nobody got any coin. But I think it was way more punishing. And shout out to Voshi for being brave and being the recipient of a lot of hate, at least initially. And then after he revealed the whole project, then he got lots of props. And you can see it from the amount of Solana that is on his validator. Like, look at this. The validator has about 885,000 Solana. That's pretty like that's the kind of path you need in the back to continue. So shout out for enduring the negativity. Now, what did you do? People are signed up in this whitelist or this ICO pre-sale. It was the pre-sale shitcoin era. So people signed up and sent their soul to a contract. And they didn't send it into a contract. Again, they didn't read what they were doing. What they did was they created the staking account. They delegated the staking account to the wallet of the grid experiment. And that grid experiment, they locked that permission until 20th of September, which is the day breakpoint starts. And then they created a validator and took all that locked Solana and staked them into the validator. So what happened is people didn't lose their Solana. They actually staked the Solana to a validator, which kind of safeguarded them from sending it to a random smart contract of a meme coin that will for sure go to zero. And the grid experiment, the grid foundation, the grid team is using the APY from the validator to fund educational content and try to help all these users understand OPSEC, understand hot and cold wallets, understand delegation, and to make things even spicier, he created a DAO. And this is the grid DAO. And let's get Voshi on the call. So he'll tell us more about the grid DAO and tell us a little bit. So APY goes to stakers. Sorry, okay, I retract. APY goes to stakers and they get zero commission. The validator gets zero commission, but he has a bunch of partners and a bunch of block rewards that, because of this new priority stuff, you can make money. Let me call Voshi. He'll tell us more. So zero commissions on the validator. Everybody gets the APY and block rewards go to education. That's the important part. Let's call Voshi. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear me well? Make sure you don't have the, double the sound.
Yeah. I turned you off on my PC. I think it should all be well. I can just hear you on Telegram now. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being involved in the Grid experiment, in the Grid Academy, and supporting you to anything you do. Like, you've been a great friend, a great partner all these years with any initiatives we had. So tell us a little bit about what's happening now with the Grid, the phase 2 of the Grid experiment. I took everybody up to speed with what's going on, everybody locked in the validators. But I want you to start the story from the Grid DAO and what exactly is going on this DAO, and why is it the #1 DAO in proposals in the last 90 days across all chains. Walk through it and then take me to your future plans.
Yes, yeah, I heard your intro. Thank you very much for that. Just two quick corrections. We never took sole or custody or authority and then delegated it. The transaction that people were signing was just normal native staking with the lock, and the lock authority was given to the DAO key right away. So the sole never left their wallets or custody in any way. It's just like anybody can create a transaction that, anybody can decide to lock their sole for a while and give lockup authority to any wallet, which then only has the authority to change the lockup parameter. So nobody ever took custody of anything. People just kind of signed something, I'm guessing most of that not being fully aware what. So the DAO has the lockup authority, and that's kind of the main intro into what the DAO was about. When thinking about the second grid experiment, triggered by, as you said, pre-sales, shitcoin pre-sales, the idea was we need to teach people some other new things, right? That we wanted them to learn when we have everybody's attention. First grid experiment was way more about privacy and security. And here we kind of focused a bit on, staking validators, like basics of the network. And I wanted to push governance in some way. And that's why how this idea evolved. The idea how to get governance involved was we log this all until breakpoint, but then whoever wants to unlock early, how they do it is they need to learn the basics of governance and rounds and SPL governance to do it. So that was kind of the whole setup. Whoever wants to unlock their soul, the only way to make that happen is to make a proposal on the DAO, considering that the DAO is the only entity that can change the lockup date. So that's pretty much the intro into how it came to being very active. A lot of people wanted their soul unlocked, still way less than I expected, because in the end, less than 1/4 of the people even attempted. But then you know how it goes with the DAOs. When you show people the basics and how to use it, we have dozens and dozens of funny proposals that have no executables. It's just about, making a funny joke and make people vote around it, which is pretty cool. It hurts nobody, but I'm guessing over a few hundred people first time interacted with rounds, understood how you would go about joining a DAO, creating a proposal, which is exactly what we wanted to achieve.
Small question. How many proposals have been successful at unlocking their soul?
I have to admit, I've been so busy with these lessons starting that I didn't check for a bit now, but on my Twitter, I pushed the stats at one point. Let me scroll quickly. This was the update from June 14th, so a month ago. There were 337 proposals, and out of them, 155 passed and 29 defeated. So the majority of people who actually made proposals that were, done right and not jokes and actually made the right inputs, a big majority did it. We put the threshold super low because the idea was we didn't want anybody who can just go there and do it, because getting people the feeling that the DAO does need some activation, getting other people to notice that you made a proposal and participate was important. But then again, we didn't want to make it hard, right? So we had around 1,600 originally locked accounts. We set it to 1.5K, and only 1% needed to pass a proposal, which pretty much means you only needed 15 votes, yes, which out of 1,600 really isn't a lot. And we've seen all of those dynamics that you would expect, people creating Telegram groups, people sharing their things on Twitter. From what I've seen around, and I joined all of these groups, everybody who really put any effort into it didn't have a problem in getting those votes. Of course, you'll always have those on the opposite side of the spectrum, which made a proposal, said nothing anywhere, didn't try voting for anybody else, and then came crying that their proposal didn't pass. I'm happy that they are a minority, but I do think they are also an important lesson for everybody else. How can you be surprised if you didn't put even 2 minutes effort into it that people didn't go and vote, right?
Amazing way of making people understand on-chain governance. Props. I think Dean Machine and the Realms team are very happy that you were so successful. And I know you have also plans with all these block rewards that you are gathering for educational purposes. Like, tell me a little bit about the Grid Academy. How can I participate? Like, I see I need to stake a soul. Like, should I do it? What's the plan?
Yeah, so to give just a bit of a backstory about that, after the first grid experiment, we really wanted to do more. And we already, like end of last summer, we planned a big educational thing that would run like 3 to 4 semesters a year and try to kind of improve the space. But back then the funding was 100% depending on grants, which, as you know, because you guys do a lot of things with grants, it's like, it's cool in one way because, it's nice, don't have investors that you need to respond to and so on, but it's a bit a pain in the ass because every year or every semester you need to be, afraid, are you going to get it again? Is it sustainable and so on? So the idea this time around was, what if this validator actually becomes successful? People recognize how cool this is, where they can be earning top level APY rewards on staking SOL, and the part that goes into education is what usually other validators just take for themselves because it is a profit business usually. And then the results kind of shocked us, right? The initial idea, we were hoping we were going to get a few $1,000s maybe per month from this, and we can maybe make our idea happen. But with the last 6 months, validators on Solana are a very profitable business, which you probably noticed considering how many people all of a sudden started being interested in running a validator. So with this amount of SOL and current SOL prices, we are talking about $70,000+ a month from block rewards, even if you're taking zero commission, even if you're taking zero MEV rewards. You give all of that back to stakers, everybody's happy earning top tier staking rewards. But just because you have all of this SOL in your validator, you're producing enough blocks to be collecting these priority fees and all of these block rewards. So considering the result definitely exceeded our expectations, clearly the initiative is becoming bigger than we expected. And we are definitely going to do way more things other than just running some kind of our own program. The plans here are hackathons with educational topics. So like, let's make a hackathon where people who are producing anything for education, be it content, be it apps that help educating people, be it integrating education into the UI of their existing platform, and let's give them money to do it. Let's do some kind of bounty boards. If there are topics that we notice ecosystem is missing, let's do what Super Team does with their earned programs, and let's put those topics we want content on, and let's pay people to actually produce and distribute this content. So there's like of course the idea grew with how the funds that we have available grew. But I think what's most important in this moment is this first season. Before we knew we are going to actually have this much SOL in our validator, we wanted to find a way to prove our theory from last year, which is for people to learn something, you either have to kind of shock them, have some kind of surprise factor, or you need to incentivize them. And clearly shocking them 3 times a week is not really feasible. So after we did the first big reveal and you get a lot of attention, that's not sustainable in itself. And then we gathered partners to give us that wanted to support, to give us money in our reward pool for the first semester, with the promise that all of the locked people who participate in lessons split these rewards. So we have some Moet Coin, we have Texture, we have Soul Marms, Famous Foxes, Cyber Frogs that donated either Sol or USDC or their tokens, even some NFTs and some other additional things from their projects. At one point, it was worth, I think, at the top $110,000, $120,000. If the market likes us until September, it might be worth way more. And they decided to support it so that everybody who really goes through the first semester is going to be rewarded well. So to be eligible to participate, what people need to do is have locked stake accounts in our validator and then do the lessons. If you do at least 50% of the lessons that we push in the next 2 months, you'll become eligible. And then the more you complete them, the bigger your multiplier in the reward split is. So the deadline for that is Sunday, which is 4 days away, 5 days away. And that's the main reason why we are going around trying to get this information in the biggest, in front of as many people as we can.
So let me understand. You are going to distribute block rewards, some of the block rewards to the people that successfully complete the lessons, more than 50%, you said.
No, block rewards are not in this first semester going to people who complete. The reward fund is from the partners, correct?
Okay, so the partners. And is this according to the amount staked on your validator? Has anything to do with the Sol staked in the grid validator, the amount of coins you'll be getting by completing?
So the proportional is to the amount of locked and staked Sol. So there are two different ways how somebody can get involved, right? If they're not interested in this whole learning thing, they don't need it and they don't care about these partner rewards, purely staking the Sol natively with our validator supports us because we will put all of that money towards education. But what we want to do is empower creators, empower people who are building educational content and educational platforms. So all of that money is going to go to education. But if you're interested in splitting these rewards from the first semester, then it's not enough to stake. That stake needs to be locked until breakpoint, which is now a bit less than 2 months. So if you want to do that, we have on the website grid.academy, we have the lock site. We even have a link. You can find it. We published it today on Grid Academy Twitter. And maybe if you open the Grid Academy Twitter, you can see there's a link there.
I'm already on the grid.academy.lock. I've connected my wallet. I'm trying to deposit a Sol, and I get a huge red warning saying this dApp could be malicious. Do not proceed. And for safety reasons, Phantom has blocked this request.
Interesting. I will ping Blowfish about that.
You can see my screen on the stream. I have it square there. You can mute the sound, but still look at the warning. Because it's intimidating.
Yeah, I see it. Is Soulflare giving the same kind of thing? I didn't check Soulflare, but yeah, I'll definitely look into it. Look, in all honesty, considering there is a lock involved in this transaction, I am honestly happy that the wallets are warning about it. Our site clearly explains what is going to happen and explains that it has a lock and everything. But I doubt that this is something that people encounter often, this kind of transaction. So wallets warning against it is probably a good thing, because you are giving a lockup authority again to the DAO and you are locking Sol for 2 months. So it's not a traditional standard kind of thing that you would expect all the people doing with their wallets. So I can ask them to whitelist us there, but honestly, it's not bad that this is flagged. It's just about, clearly you can trust us. You can see on our leaderboard, people locked amounts up to 1,000 Sol on there. But yeah, of course, you should usually not be signing this kind of transaction if you don't know exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Big scary warning, but as you said, it's good to have. So, do you advise people if they do not have any Sol to lock, you're the validator? Is there a way they can get involved? Can they participate in these lessons?
Look, I don't want to push anybody into doing it and be promising something. I know that when you look at the leaderboard, you can see that currently there's around 1,000 wallets that are eligible that have some locked and stake Sol. And you know how it is. Most of these accounts are there from day one. I am expecting most of them to not be really following and doing the lessons. So we have $100,000 worth of prices that are going to be split purely between people who actually participate. I am expecting by the current MAD that this is going to be, a better ROI than most of the farming airdrops that people were doing during the last few months here. But I would also prefer if people join in, not because they're chasing, few $100 from the rewards compared to actually being interested in participating, learning something, and this just being like an additional cherry on top and a small motivation to lock, right? Like if you were not interested in education, if you don't like the idea of staking on your Sol, then don't do it. But if you already are going to stake your Sol, why not put a bit of that Sol in that lock and go with us through the next 2 months and be a part of the classes?
And this is just season one, from what I understand. This is going to continue. The validator will continue because you got a good initial stake, but once you revealed your plan, you got even more support. So I think that this is something that is going to stay around, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that the initial locked stake was less than 6,000 Sol, and so we are talking about 875,000 plus Sol that people stake natively just to support the initiative. Like most of it is not locked clearly, right? Like out of that whole stake, even now with people who decided to lock recently to participate, we are still looking at less than 7,000 Solana that's locked. Everything else is just natively staked by people who like the idea of, they're staking their Sol anyway, but this idea of a validator is using all of their profits to education instead of, whatever else. They liked it. And this number is quite high. And the first semester is just the start. I am expecting the other seasons, the other semesters to be looking quite differently. But because of all of these people who locked and having them in mind and trying to provide them with something that in the end they will be happy they were a part of, this one clearly is a bit special, right? The other one is not going to start with an experiment where people are angrily yelling and kind of, have that kind of attention. It's going to be different. I'm not expecting to be needing partners donations anymore because we can incentivize people in different ways, especially with the funds we have and ecosystem partners that can provide different benefits. This is just the start. We have big plans, but for now we're focused on this semester and just making sure to make the best out of it, make people excited to learn some basics. And one thing that I'll mention is we want to approach this education a bit different than for what we've usually seen in the space, where you're answering some ABCD questions and then somebody gets the answer, sends them to Discord and around, and people are just going through it to get something without really learning. We are making like a different approach here, where the lesson completion is going to be something that is checked on chain whenever possible. Meaning that if we have, for example, a lesson about staking and we show people how you can actually stake your Sol through wallets, which surprisingly a lot of people have no clue about. I learned that recently. Then even if you just make an account, stake account, but with 0.001 Sol, the completion of a lesson depends on you connecting your wallet, inputting your stake account address, and our backend checks if this is a valid stake account owned by your wallet. If it is, you completed the lesson.
Nice.
And that's something that nobody can fake, right? That's something that if somebody did it, you can be sure that they at least know how to click 3 buttons to stake their soul, which is exactly what you want to teach them.
Amazing, amazing. A question from the audience. What is the curriculum like? What kind of lessons? You gave an example. If you like, what other disciplines will you be teaching?
So, because of how much work we had and how much, in the end, our ambitions had to grow because of the stake, we do not have the detailed curriculum completely set in stone yet for this season. But what we want to cover are one, expand on the validators and staking. Two, governance. Three, we are gonna try to do some kind of education that involves our partners. So we teach people, for example, if we have a DeFi protocol, we try to do some basics there and make people at least perform an action there. If we have a meme coin as a partner, we're going to try to teach people how they can at least do some due diligence and find out, is this a team that can, rug me tomorrow and disappear? Is somebody doxed? Is the mint authority renounced? A bit about how to do their own research instead of just aping into things. And then, of course, I will do my best to try to make a bit more advanced security and privacy thing in there, because I feel like people still don't know what makes their crypto safe in their wallets, what are the things they should never do, and how they should be, saving their seed words, private keys, and so on. So this semester is kind of aimed towards people who are not complete beginners, because they were at least able to connect their wallet and be ready to send Sol to somebody who tweeted something, right?
Yeah,
but also
they have
not go
basic
super.
knowledge to get ragged, enough to get ragged.
So the idea is take their basic knowledge and make them a bit less, like diminish the chances of them getting rugged in the future. Like help them not to not get rugged again, let's say. And then in the future, after the semester 2, I definitely want to focus also on basics. So we have a course or a semester for like really beginners, just because the idea is if we do build this whole educational ecosystem and do this right, it might become like, my hope is to become the place where you send people to get onboarded. Like I want when you onboard your mom to Solana to send her to Grid Academy, and that's the place where she can start from the complete basics to more advanced topics as she levels up.
Amazing. I know we said the 10 minutes. We're already the past, like close to 25. Anything else we need to let the people know before we close, other than, of course, go support the Grid Validator, go enroll on the courses, complete them, not for the rewards only, but also for the knowledge, for you to level up, for you not to get scammed. Follow Voshi, follow the Grid Experiment for new announcements. And what else should we tell the people before we close the whole show?
Yeah, I think you kind of summarized it great. Sunday is the deadline for you to lock if you want to participate in the reward split for this season. You can go check Grid Academy Twitter or my Twitter, and you can find the Medium article that has all the details about it. If you have any questions, send me a DM, ask on Twitter. We'll try to respond. I think it's worth it. I think it's going to be cool. Thank you, Chris, so much for having me, and appreciate everything you guys do. And can't wait to see you in Singapore and party together.
Yes, for sure. And I also want Dinsley DAO to be involved with the Grid Academy, maybe be part of some of your initiatives. And also, like, I want to highlight that you prompted people to learn how Solana works, because understanding how like these accounts staked the Solana. It created a staking account which delegated the staking rights to another account, but Solana never left their custody. Like the account will always have the custody of that sol. So it's beautiful. Anybody who participated or followed the grid experiment like learned how Solana works, how staking, how validators, how all this beautiful system works. So props for that, for pushing people to learn.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, thank you for having me. Sorry for taking way more of your time, but yeah, always so happy to chat with you.
See you in less than 2 months. Bye, everybody. Bye to all the viewers. Don't get rugged. Don't get shaken out. Live to trade another day and follow every Solana update. Love you all. Boshi and I wish you good night. Or GM. Bye-bye.